So I got to drive the Model 3. Yo-Yo was in town doing his Model 3 road trip, and I got to do a ride along and drive when he came through Baton Rouge. But before we get to that, on Christmas, I went to my cousin's house, and her boyfriend is a state trooper. And he was outside grilling, and I noticed he was wearing a SpaceX hat. So just being curious, I wasn't going to ask him, but I thought maybe somewhere was selling SpaceX hats, and it'd be cool to go get one. And so I asked him about it, and he says they always give them hats and keychains and stuff when they're escorting the rockets. Now, this was something I didn't know was going on. I didn't know they were moving the rockets through Louisiana by truck. And then he starts telling me about all the issues they have when they're transporting them, and how like they can get stuck, and how it can take like an hour to do something that takes maybe 7 seconds in a car to do. So I'm gonna keep my eyes open if I see a large object wrapped in black being transported across the state. And then he asked me if I wanted a keychain, and I'm like, yeah, I want one. So I got one. It says remove before flight. It has a picture of the rocket on the side of it. So back to the Model 3. I got to drive one on the Model 3 road trip that Yo-Yo is doing. I'll have a link to the Facebook page in the description. If you are a person waiting on a Model 3, I highly suggest you look at his page. He gives a lot of honest feedback about what's going on with the car and anything that's wrong with the car. Like basically even brutally honest feedback sometimes. But I think that's what you need. You don't need like fanboy talk about all the great things about the car. He gives it to you how it is. If you live in the US, chances are he's going to be coming near your area. He has a tracker on the Facebook page that will let you know where he is. That's probably the best way to have an idea of when he's going to be at your supercharger for the test rides. He tries to estimate the times, but you never really know how many people are going to be interested in test rides and everything, so he can get caught up in some other stops. So when he left his event that was before coming to Baton Rouge, I just kept an eye on the tracker, and I was able to get to the supercharger 5 minutes before him, and I didn't have to wait around. This event happened on the day after Christmas. I would have uploaded this that next day, but after spending so much time outside, out in the dark, and semi-raining, and it being cold, and then the next day forgetting my jacket at work and being outside in the cold another day, yeah, I haven't been feeling really well, and my voice is still a little rough right now. But I'm tired of sitting on the video, and we're gonna get this uploaded now. So when he arrives, he just plugs in the car and basically lets people just go in and out as they please. Sit in the passenger seat, sit in the driver's seat, sit in the back seats, just experience the car as it is. The first thing I got to try was the door handles. They work a lot better than I thought they would. I thought they would be awkward having to press in and then pull out, but it felt really natural. On the inside of the car, it's probably even better. The door handles are, the pulls are just in a better location. It's more natural, and just being able to press the button and have the door pop open like it does is really nice. The interior of the car is really nice, probably better than the Model S. Visibility is really good. I don't feel like I have the large blind spots I have with the Model S. For the heating and air, I feel like the system blows a lot harder than it does in the Model S, especially in the back. In the back, you can feel a really nice stream of air blowing on you instead of just kind of having a little air coming out, and you kind of have to reach for it to feel it's even working. I sat in all the seats. Getting in and out is definitely easier than in the Model S, especially in the back. In the Model S, in the times I have tried to sit in my Model S, I find myself ducking to avoid hitting my head on the roof. I didn't feel like I had that problem with the Model 3. And just opening the door, the opening just looks bigger just for you to step in. But it does have the battery pack in the floor like the Model S. So it is a little awkward if you're taller when you're sitting down, you're lowering your butt, but you have to lift your legs up over the battery in that trim area to not trip over it. I feel like there was plenty of room in the front and the back. It seats 5 people, but comfortably, I think you're looking at 4 adults. I don't think 5 people are getting in that car and driving a long distance for a very long time without hating each other. So if you have 3 people in the back seat, they're going to be shoulder to shoulder, elbow to elbow, hip to hip. For the handling, first you have the car in sport mode. I pretty much keep my car in sport mode all the time. The Model 3 felt more sporty, probably because it's just a smaller car, it's a lighter car, but also the steering wheel felt a lot more responsive. It feels like you could zip in and out of traffic if you need to. So the test drives we did were at night. It was raining, so there really wasn't much good video to be had. The good thing about it raining was I got to try the wipers. I thought they were about the same as the Model S, kind of subpar. I don't like that you have to basically look away from the road to turn the wipers on, to have the control on the screen. Also, with it being at night, I got to have an idea of what the headlights were like, and I feel like the headlights on the Model 3 were significantly better than the Model S. The IIHS has, for a couple years in a row, given the Model S bad marks for the headlights. It felt like the Model 3 headlights were lighting a much wider portion of the road. So I'll leave you with the videos that I was able to get in the rain and in the dark. Some of them aren't the best quality. I also have my initial thoughts that I had immediately after riding in the car that I recorded as soon as I got home. You can see the excitement all over my face that I got to finally ride in this car that I've been almost wondering if it was actually a real thing. So yeah, I have that after I show those other videos, and I'll put some pictures and stuff that I took at the end. But yeah, I got to ride in a Model 3. I got to drive a Model 3, and I got a SpaceX keychain. So if you have any other questions or anything that I didn't cover, you can ask them in the comments. Other than that, Happy New Year. Okay, so I'm just getting back from my first ever Model 3 drive, and it was amazing. If you are a person that's waiting for this car, it will be worth the wait. So if you haven't heard, this guy, Yo-Yo, he's taking his car all around the country before he goes back home overseas, and he's letting people test drive, he's letting people ride along. It's a really awesome thing he's doing. So you can check out the Facebook group. I'll put the link in the description if you want to see if you can arrange your own ride along or do a test drive, or if you just want to donate to his cause to help him out. They've learned a lot from the Model S. They've made a lot of improvements. I like the visibility, the handling is great, the acceleration is there. The touchscreen works great. It almost feels like an iPhone compared to the Model S touchscreen. And this screen is probably better than any screen I've had in any other car. But the Model 3 screen kind of blows it away. The regen on the car felt really good. What else did I miss? The handling on the car was really great. It was the rear wheel drive, the only one you can get right now. The only thing I didn't like, the sound system, and he talked about it on the Facebook group. The sound system isn't great, and I think that would be the upgraded sound system. And I think my ear just doesn't really like those upgraded sound systems. It sounds like you get these car guys who are more used to building cars, and they just throw a whole bunch of speakers in a car, and it doesn't end up sounding good. So I've never really been a fan of upgraded sound systems. I rather get my own speakers and do it myself. I did notice myself looking in between the hole in the steering wheel, looking for the speed. So it will take a little while to get used to looking over to the right, but it wasn't that big of a deal. Today was my first time ever using autopilot on my own. That was a different experience. I still don't feel like it's something I'm going to pay $6,000 for, but it was cool to try. Another thing I can say for sure is getting in the back seats way easier than getting in the Model S back seats. You can just look at it and just look at them side by side, and the opening is clearly bigger, and it's a more natural, just the way you sit in the car is just more natural. It doesn't feel like you're ducking into the car. The door handles, they were nice. It didn't seem awkward. They pretty much just pop open just with a little pull and the press of the button on the inside of the car. I got a little video of when other people were driving, but I wasn't going to be that guy to try to ask them to mount my camera somewhere in the car. I was just happy to be there and see the car in person and know that it was real and it exists and it was out there in the world, and I wasn't being fooled by the internet. Another thing I noticed is the turn signals don't stick like the Model S turn signals. Like with these, you go up if you want to put on your right turn signal and it stays in place, and you have to flip it back down, or it goes down when you turn the car. In the Model 3, it doesn't do that. In my opinion, I didn't think that the Model 3 signals are as loud as the ones in the Model S and the Model X. It was more subtle, and there were points where I didn't realize I was using my signal when I wanted to, and I kept going up even though I had the signal already on. It doesn't have the web browser, which is supposed to be getting an update, and maybe with that update the Model 3 will get it. It doesn't have the energy charts, which I don't use a whole lot anyway, but I expect that they'll at some point add those energy charts, because they are sometimes useful if you just want to do a comparison. When he got there, he had a pretty low state of charge, and we were all just talking outside the car, and before you knew it, the charge was well over 200 miles. So I don't know the exact rate of charge. I wasn't timed it or anything like that, because time was flying by when you get a bunch of people from Louisiana who aren't used to seeing other Tesla owners, and they're surrounded by five Model S's and then the Model 3 at the time, and I think we were all just overwhelmed. But that was a great experience, and I thank him for doing that. That's gonna make a lot of people's holidays a little more special. There's a Tesla Model 3 in Baton Rouge.
This is comfortable back here. I was a little scared because I've been driving SUVs since I was 15.
Well, needless to say, you Model 3 guys, I think I'd be pretty excited about this, because this is a pretty nice car.
Yeah.
I can really see what people were saying when they were talking about how low the dash is. Like you can see it, you can see everything.
Yeah, that is really
low. Not even nothing here.
Oh, the Trump popped up, and I was like, well, what in the world was that? Like, what button did you push? Seems pretty sweet.
Does it look like it would be difficult to look down and get your speed from right there?
So you probably would see it in your peripherals.
No, I mean, if it's
it's like right there, and it's up high. It's up high.
When I'm over in Asia, I've rented cheap these little cars in Asia. They all have the center just in the center.
The old
and they don't bother. You get used to it in a half a day, and that's so much bigger than what I'm.
They give everybody junk crap for this, or Tesla crap for this, but there was a Mini that had a gauge cluster in the middle. There was another car too that had the gauge, just a regular gauge cluster in the middle, not even a digital readout. So yeah, digital readout for the speedometer. The only thing that they said was a little trippy was your turn signals were always on your
Oh, that's really bright.
So if you turn on your left turn signal, it's always on your right fucking this way. And I mean,
you're just not used to that.
It's not terrible, but you know, it's something you just gotta get used to.
Oh, so much better.
Yeah, that is nice.
Wow.
No, I like that a lot.
Button here, and it just, oh, okay, it just pops open. Cool.
I have reported you to the Oklahoma Department of Justice.
This is like an iPhone compared to my Model S.
Right? Yeah. So.
Does it show you the live charge for using a supercharger?
Yeah, just click the battery icon.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
But I can justify Model 3.
Ooh. It charged pretty fast.
So do you guys eat Popeyes around here?
I do.
Yeah, because you know we've been talking about
Well, you know, you missed me.
Can't see the roof.
Got it.
I took a test drive in a Model S.
Yeah.
In Houston.
Houston.
About
Which showroom did you do it at?
the one at the Galleria,
Okay, got it. Yeah, I've heard of that in downtown, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay.
where we had it just.
Oh yeah, let's go left. And the 10, that's fine with me. You know, it's all about experience. After you've understood the limitations of it, you can better use it. You know. Yeah.
And so this disengages if you turn the wheel.
Yeah,
that way.
definitely. Yeah. See, yeah. So
And it
there-
kind of gives you a little jerk there.
well, there's